I want you to know that we are so thankful for all of your hard work and effort on the California 919. I know that you wanted good things for the future of franchising and for new business creation in California. You wanted to protect franchisees and grow successful businesses in your state, and we want to help you with that. There is so much good that can be done, and we haven't even really started on what can be accomplished with that goal. But there are 3 things that we're asking for your consideration on regarding the California SB 919 bill. These are all extremely reasonable and protect the most amount of people while still creating a workable law. The first thing is the way the California 919 is written. It creates a serious privacy issue for franchisees. Think of it this way. My first real job was at Chick-fil-A, and I was a food sampler. So I was outside the store, and as people would walk by, I had a plate of food and I would give them little samples of chicken to taste and see if they liked it enough to come on in and buy a meal at Chick-fil-A. And thankfully, a lot of them did because it was yummy. Now, using that same scenario, imagine I'm standing outside of the front door of a retail shop. I don't own the shop. I'm not employed by the shop. I can't sell you anything in the store, but I do know the value of the items inside. And so I ask the passersby to go on in. Now, before they go in, I say to them, now I have to give you this list of everyone who has bought from this store in the last year. I'm also going to give you their personal contact information and what they bought. Now, if you are that person who knows that if you go in, everything you buy from that retailer and your personal contact information will be given out to every passerby of the store, would you shop there? Would you go in knowing that your information was going to be given out to literally thousands of strangers? This is what this bill is asking for. If that's not the bill's intentions, and we don't believe that it would be, please help us to make this more reasonable and provide personal privacy protection for franchise owners. 2, the disclosure period. Now, a franchisor submits their past year's data on their disclosure documents. They do not submit their current year's information. But the bill asks for disclosure in real time. Now, if we applied that concept of everyone in franchising having to submit their disclosures in real time, the pure administrative burden would eliminate franchising in California. It's impossible to comply with that level of administration, and it serves no meaningful purpose to the potential franchisee. Last year's data is a really good look into what that franchise did. With daily administration and the consequences of rescission for errors in that administration, the broker community will be forced out of the state, and that would mean that all the businesses they bring would not open. That's a big impact. To put this in perspective, there's this scene from the I Love Lucy TV show where she's in her factory job and she's wrapping chocolates and they're being fed through a conveyor belt. Now, at first, the speed is manageable and she says, "Oh, we can handle this okay." But as the conveyor belt speeds up, she quickly becomes overwhelmed with the job of wrapping all the chocolates and begins stuffing them in her shirt, in her hat, in her clothes, in her mouth as an attempt to keep up. And then she says, "I think we're fighting a losing game." Every one of those chocolates is a day of administration. And with the current language in the act, it is very easy for anyone attempting to comply to get overwhelmed and give up. The speed is too frequent and the risk is too high for not keeping up. We are asking to make this manageable, workable, and consistent with current franchise law. So please allow the disclosure to be on the previous year's services and compensation. This would allow us to comply and stay operational in California. 3, materiality. Currently, changes in commissions and services are listed as a material change. This would mean that franchise brokers would have to submit updates daily to the state to stay compliant. Now, if they don't, the consequence is up to rescission. If you could remove materiality for daily business functions, that would be so helpful. A material change has to be something that changes the buyer's mind. But franchise brokers' compensation changes don't even affect the potential franchisee because the franchise charges the exact same amount whether or not they use a broker. So there is no change to the potential franchisee. And a change in the franchise broker's services doesn't affect them either because the potential franchisee is not paying for any of the services. So tying materiality for daily administration leaves room for mistakes that aren't actually bad business practices, but rather excessive administration, which will encourage frivolous lawsuits on technicalities. I guess we just have to think, what are we trying to do here? Why would we make something material that isn't material? If we're trying to protect franchisees, then this doesn't make sense. Franchise brokers, by and large, help educate franchisees, and the more services they offer free of charge to the potential franchisee end up being better for that potential franchisee. To put this in perspective, let's say you are running a pizza shop, and in this pizza shop, when the shop changes its menu substantially, that owner, you, have to file a notice of a material change with the state. A material change is a big change. So for example, if you change and now only serve Greek food and no pizza, well, the state might consider that a material change. But this act is essentially saying that adding some banana peppers to the list of toppings, or changing the type of sauce that you use to get a better flavor, or changing even the new supplier to get a better price on the ingredients, all of that would be considered material and would require a registration with the state. We're simply asking to keep material changes material and remove that confusion from the act. The 3 changes again are: 1, helping to maintain the privacy of franchisees; 2, allowing us to disclose on last year's data, not the current year that's changing all the time; and 3, to remove the changes in services and the changes in compensation as being a material change. We ask with a humble heart and a pure heart. We are here to do good work in franchising, and we are here to help you create a flourishing marketplace with good people who are substantially supported in their franchise ventures. I'm speaking to the real you, the one beyond any of the noise. Your intentions are to help and protect, not to harm. So please help us to make these adjustments and create a workable law. I want to thank you so much for listening to us. Contact me if you have any questions or if you want to talk about this.